This presentation is going to focus on how therapeutic recreation can help people in low socioeconomic conditions. To start off, what is therapeutic recreation? Therapeutic recreation is an evidence-based healthcare profession that utilizes leisure, recreation, and play in order to enhance the well-being and quality of life. These leisure activities can be hiking, horseback riding, snowboarding, painting, chess, knitting, walking, shopping, going out to eat, and many more. These leisure activities are usually chosen by the patient and based on what they would like to do or what they have interest in. Therapeutic recreation can help in many ways. It improves motor control, emotional control, improves confidence, helps foster human connection, improves independence, self-esteem, and their overall happiness. The benefits of therapeutic recreation are undeniable and have been proven through studies. However, sometimes there are populations that get ignored. Usually, these are the populations that are underserved within the community and therefore do not have access to these resources. These are called vulnerable populations. These populations are racial ethnic minorities, people who live in low socioeconomic status, rural populations, people with disabilities, and sexual minority groups. One of the problems is they do not have the same access to healthcare. This could be due to not being able to find culturally competent positions, the services being too much money, the lower amount of healthcare services in the area are just simply not being able to get there. This could lead to lower physical and mental health, less longevity, more illnesses, and long-lasting health conditions. Another problem is they usually do not have the same access to community services. These services could be food banks or tutoring opportunities for children. This leads to children not having less educational achievement and having less diverse experiences. Another problem is usually they have less freedom in choosing a home. This could be due to the amount of money it costs to live in different areas. This can lead to growing up in unsafe neighborhoods that are counterproductive to a healthy lifestyle. All of these can contribute to having illnesses or disabilities that threaten their well-being, both psychological and physical. Living in a low socioeconomic area is linked to a lot of health and wellness disparities throughout development. Starting off with infancy. During infancy, they have lower joint attention, which is linked to higher autism spectrum disorder. Parents usually talk to their children less, which can delay the language development. This can be related to not being able to spend as much time with their children due to responsibilities, such as a job or just things around the house that need to get done. Living in poverty can also affect how the brain develops, which can lead to difficulties in school and gaps in understanding. In elementary school, living in lower socioeconomic status was linked to lower cognitive control as well as higher risk-taking behaviors. It was also linked to less physical fitness and difficulties in school, and they might not graduate high school or go to college. The environment they are raised in can have a 6-point difference in intelligence, and children living in low socioeconomic areas were lower in intelligence scores by 6 points or less. In middle school and high school, children living in low socioeconomic conditions often sleep less and have insufficient sleep. This can lead to higher marijuana use and higher suicidal thoughts. They also have defects in cognitive brain function. This leads to higher risk-taking behavior, less effective brain function, and lower academic achievement. And they also usually have mental and physical health problems, such as depression and anxiety. In adulthood, a couple is more likely to live together and not be married, and also more likely to have a child unmarried. This could lead to possibly having one parent move away and having the child be raised by one parent due to not having the constraints of marriage. They are also less likely to seek medical care, which could lead to long-term chronic health problems or illnesses. They are also less likely to build up a savings account, which they just don't have the funds to do so. So when an unexpected tragedy or injury happens, such as an injury or maybe the car won't start, they will either have to ask someone for help or go into debt. And they are also less likely to enjoy life due to being this being able to provide for their families, and also having the responsibilities on themselves like childcare. Late adulthood. This characterizes individuals who are 65 years and older. They are more likely not to be able to live in an effective nursing home if they grew up or were in low socioeconomic status. They are less likely to live longer. They are more susceptible to illness and chronic health problems, and they're more likely not to get help when an illness arises. The ecological perspective, there are a lot of different interconnected systems to consider with working with any population. Starting off is the intrapersonal level and the microsystem. The first stage is the intrapersonal level. This is the actual child or the actual person living in the low socioeconomic status. It revolves around them. Resilience can be created and it can be higher or lower in certain conditions. Resilience can be higher and they will be able to develop the skills in order to achieve high status or achieve high grades or do things that will be effective for them in the future. Or resilience can be lower and they can build strategies that are not productive and will keep them at the status that they are. Next is the microsystem. This revolves interpersonal relationships and social support. People living in lower socioeconomic conditions usually have harder working jobs, usually involving labor that can affect their health. This can affect their health, and also when they do not go to the doctors due to certain circumstances, this can create chronic health problems. Children also usually go to schools that are high on educational achievement, which could harm their college admissions. And coming home, they might be witness to unsafe neighborhoods, preventing restful sleep. Next up is the mesosystem and the exosystem. The mesosystem are local community resources. When living in a lower income household, they often rely more on these community resources, but they might not have access to all of them. Some of the community resources can be food banks, public pools, public playgrounds, free tutoring, and free library access. Next up is the exosystem. These are regional organizations and institutions. There are a lot of organizations that are dedicated to helping lower income families. First off, there are community development financial institutions such as these institutions. These can provide loans and financial advice. There are community action agencies. These are agencies that are providing essential services such as childcare and energy assistance. There are community-based developmental organizations. These are organizations that help with housing. There are regional development organizations, and these organizations offer solutions to community needs by offering training and education to businesses. Next is the macro system, which is the final system that affects people's lives. This is national and legislative and the policy landscape and also government structures. And fortunately, there are a lot of government organizations that can help. These organizations are earned income tax credit, temporary assistance for needy families, which provides them with cash, unemployment insurance, which provides people with money to people who are unemployed, supplemental nutrition assistance program provides food assistance, school meal subsidies provides food to children in school, Medicaid and children's health insurance programs provides health care to families, Housing Choice Voucher Program provides rental assistance, Affordable Housing Initiatives helps in development and affordable housing and also to find affordable housing. Advocacy approach. The problem is people living in low socioeconomic areas often do not have the ability to participate in leisure. It could be due to too many financial responsibilities such as working, due to caring for the children, or the fact that it is just too expensive. However, leisure should be enjoyed for everyone due to its tremendous health benefits that it offers. So, since the problem is that people living in low socioeconomic areas often do not have the ability to participate in leisure, the goal is that therapeutic recreation should be classified and treated as a mental health service under state law. Therefore, people living in low socioeconomic areas could be able to have access to these services without having to pay for them, and therefore it could improve their standard of living. Mental health is already treated under Medicaid and government-funded health insurance. Therapeutic recreation is a mental health service and could be added soon. Therapeutic recreation is being used to treat the disabled community funded fully or partly through these organizations. This is shown that therapeutic recreation is already being added as a mental health service for the disabled community. However, the organizations that are funding these are not government funded. In order to and allowing therapeutic recreation access to low socioeconomic population is a way to improve their standard of living. In order to get this set in motion, help from the community, therapeutic recreation professionals, mental health professionals, organizations, and state officials is important. Qualitative and quantitative evidence. This is evidence to support the advocacy approach. First off, therapeutic recreation for the disabled community. In the Milwaukee area, they are offering therapeutic recreation classes for the disabled community through their programs that they offer. They are given classes with different activities and staff members to support them. Some of the activities that they include could be swim lessons, yoga, computer classes, field trips, dance, family activities, personal training, cooking, scrapbooking, bowling, and more. And the benefits that they offer are socialization, building friendships, physical fitness, increased self-confidence, cooperation, learning how to use leisure time positively, such as reading instead of watching TV. Case managers are also offering recreational therapy to their clients. This could be off-scene, like horseback riding lessons, often offered in adaptive and inclusive environments. These can also be offered in schools. These schools are specifically designed to help disabled children and use therapeutic recreation in their schools. Therapeutic recreation qualifies as a related educational service under the Disabilities with Education Act. Recreational activities are being used inside school hours in order to meet the goals set by the institution. The benefits are immense, including increased socialization, independence, self-acceptance, building healthy habits, self-direction, enhanced self-esteem, and self-confidence. Health under Medicaid and other government insurance. The insurance under Medicaid offers inpatient and outpatient mental health care, including private therapy and group therapy, medication, mental health screenings, and part-time hospitalization programs. Under these programs, mental health is fully covered or mostly covered, depending on the income and plan. So adding in therapeutic recreation isn't something that is currently offered, but can be added to the plan under mental health coverage due to its benefits, as therapeutic recreation is considered mental health coverage and can be added under the plan simply. The benefits of therapeutic recreation. Overall, there are physical benefits, mental health benefits, and life skill improvements. The physical benefits are improved cardiovascular health, improved bone strength, improved fitness overall, as recreation helps people stay active. The mental health benefits are improvements in depression, anxiety, PTSD symptoms, and stress. The life skill improvements are increased self-confidence, increased self-esteem, increased independence, and helps with socialization and building relationships. People living in low socioeconomic areas can have more mental health and physical health problems. This can be due to increased stress from financial troubles, increased depression and anxiety due to living in unsafe neighborhoods, and discrimination, as well as other factors. They also have more physical health problems related to a lack of nutrition, due to not being able to afford healthy meals, which can lead to other health problems down the line. Developmental problems in children can also occur due to unsafe environments, less interaction with parents, and not stimulating enough toys when younger and less nutrition. Recreational therapy, which cannot help nutrition, can help improve the physical and mental health of people living in these areas. And being able to improve physical and mental health improves life satisfaction and the ability to take control of their life by increasing independence and self-reliance. Interprofessional collaboration. There needs to be a lot of interprofessional collaboration to effectively advocate for therapeutic recreation. First off, the community. The community getting involved will be important. The community can be people who have experienced the benefits of therapeutic recreation, and they can show and explain how it has benefited them. The community can also be community members in nonprofit advocacy groups getting involved to advocate for therapeutic recreation. The community can also be nonprofits and organizations which the community can go and help at in order to increase the awareness of therapeutic recreation. And the community can also build advocacy groups and advocate to their local state government leaders to add therapeutic recreation into their own coverage plan, as states can add certain coverages into their state plan after adding in the required minimum. And states have the ability to add these extra coverages to their own Medicaid and government-funded insurance programs. Professionals will also be an important tool for advocating for therapeutic recreation. Professionals such as recreational therapists can be contacted in order to advocate for their job to be considered under medical care. They can advocate for the benefits of therapeutic recreation as well. These professionals can be considered experts in their field and give real documented evidence, and be able to provide information directly on why therapeutic recreation is important. And by joining national organizations for therapeutic recreation, there is also a way to give these professionals a voice to advocate for their cause and themselves and others. Organizations are also very important when dealing with advocacy. Organizations can provide resources to organize and support the community. They can also help be the support behind the advocacy groups, and as they can provide funding and resources in order to help organize everything. Organizations specifically focusing on recreational therapy can also add their voice and speak directly about their impacts on their clients, as this can be organizations that are made up of therapeutic recreation professionals or support them. And organizations that focus on helping people with low socioeconomic status can also speak on the struggles that these people face and why therapeutic recreation or these resources would help. Lastly, government officials. In order for recreational therapy to be added to Medicaid or government-funded insurance, it is on a state-to-state basis. So, government officials have to be able to advocate for recreational therapy to be added. They have to be able to advocate for these coverages to be added under mental health care. They need to vote for this to be added to the bill. Therefore, they need to be persuaded enough by the community, professionals, and organizations to propose this change. The community, professionals, and organizations can be the support behind the government official advocating for therapeutic recreation. However, it is all up to the government and them to advocate for this change. So the community and organizations and professionals have to be persistent and loud enough in order to get this change made. Thank you everyone for listening. That is the end. These are just a view of the references that I used to complete this project. This is the second page of references, and I hope you guys all have a great day. Goodbye.